Okay, let's talk about your sink setup. And because this class obviously is made for people to add Headspa to their menu, I'm assuming you already have a plumbed sink. If you already have plumbing, I repeat, I am not recommending a portable unit. You don't need it. This setup is what's going to serve you best, like long term. An electric shampoo bed like this, it can fully recline and then it can also sit your client back up. That is awesome for safety and relaxation. And notice that the legs go up too. When you have somebody's head at the shampoo bowl for that long and you don't have their legs elevated, it can add unnecessary strain to their neck. And then also something electric has an adjustable height. That's also for stylist comfort, because at the bare minimum, you want to be able to stand behind it. But ideally, I would like you to be able to sit behind it on the chair of your choice. I'll go into saddle stools later. I think they're the best. I've tried multiple kinds. Here's the swivel chair, by the way, right in the middle. A plumbed sink obviously pulls fresh water straight from your hot and cold lines and drains directly out. It's consistent, super sanitary without you having to go to great lengths to keep it sanitary, and it keeps the temperature stable. I don't need to sell you on plumbing. Like I said, the only time I'd ever recommend a portable bowl is if there's like no way ever that plumbing like could ever be an option. So something like this right here, I really like something like this. It comes with a separate sink. They're not connected. The top bed I'm talking about, it can recline and it can also swivel over to the side. The thing that I really like about that, and you can put the headrest back on. The thing I really like about that is if you're in a really small space where if you have that thing reclined and extended, you don't have room for like a separate chair to do a blowout or a consultation. Somebody can sit in that and they don't have to get up for the whole service. And it also saves you like a ton of space. And then when the chair is sat fully upright, when nobody's in the room, there's more room for you to move around. I set up my space in a 100 square foot space because many reasons, but that's like the absolute like kind of starting point. And I can tell you right now, I put my portable massage bed because part of what I was doing was testing everything and it was a nightmare. You have to have something like this in a tiny room. It'll make all the difference in the world. But you have to have something that is comfortable for you to work on, or you're not even going to want to do Headspa. So something like this white chair on the bottom, that is K Headspa. And it's just like a random unit that doesn't have a sink attached. So if you already have a sink, but you want a chair like that, I know K Headspa has one. There is an equipment list that I'm going to add. So just go ahead and peek there. And then something like this at the top, the gray one that swivels, that I don't think you can buy that without the sink. I think the sink comes with it, but they're not like, if something happens to the chair, you can still use the sink. It looks like it comes apart. And these two over here on the right, here's the thing with these. I like them, but like also be warned. Are you getting it from someplace that has decent, like if it doesn't work and you need to return it, what's their warranty? Where is it coming from? All of that kind of stuff you need to look into. Like, is it coming freight? That's for all of them, but like these ones on the right that have more of that kind of like Alibaba, like kind of Amazon comes from wherever kind of vibe. You want to do research into the company and like make sure you know if you have a problem, if something goes wrong with one of these, because they have electrical components, what your recourse is, what your backup is, all of that. And like even these electrical chairs, like that's something to consider. You definitely want to purchase or have some kind of insurance or backup plan in case these chairs for some reason stop working. And Takara Belmont, they have been around forever. They have a chair like this, the one that's in the top right. The reason I didn't put that on here or lead with that is because I remember the first time I saw that was in like, I think 2015. It's like $13,000 just for the chair and the sink, not the fountain, nothing else. And that's great, but also like that's insane when you're just starting. So something like this at the top is like 2,500. The sink that has the chair, the gray. I just realized my pointer doesn't work. And then the K Headspa one on the bottom left, the white one, I want to say that's around 4,000. So these electric things aren't cheap, but I just want you to understand what it looks like if you're going to have them, etc. And if you, a lot of times with this, it really so much depends on your specific space. So if you have questions about your specific space, leave them in the comments. I am more than happy to answer. And it might even be better if I kind of like stopped babbling and just like answered the specific questions that you have. Last thing I'll say is this. There is some merit to these all 1 unit ones on the right, because they'll save you a ton of time. If they work correctly and you don't have problems with setup, it's one and done. You're not making up a bed. You're not trying to figure out a different sink and chair. I know most of you that are starting this already have a sink, and you're probably wanting to work with what you have as you get started. So that is why we're going to talk about these plumbed waterfall attachments. And these things, like, just so you have an idea, all of these things can go onto any sink. They're universal. And see where it says fresh? That means these are hard plumbed. They pull from the fresh water. They're not recirculated. These go right onto your sink, and you can like turn a little knob and it'll control whether the water comes out of like your shampoo sprayer or out of the attachment. And that's really cool. And that's like 100% where I would start. If you're sure how deep you're going to go, all the way to you definitely know you're in it to win it with Headspa. When people come in for this service, almost all of them have been on Instagram, on TikTok, whatever, looking at Headspa. They are excited for that waterfall moment. They want that waterfall moment that they've seen. So we're going to get into recirculating in the next lesson, but something like this is totally fresh water, and it's giving the waterfall or the halo kind of like version. And the waterfall is this one in the middle, and the halo is on the left, like of how the water comes out. And those just totally pull from the fresh water. You just turn them on, you turn them off, you adjust the temperature. And one of the things I like about these is the minute your client lays back, you can turn on that waterfall and give them that experience that they're excited for, kind of like that waterfall moment. If you use recirculated, mine is on the bottom right. That is my Headspa waterfall recirculating fountain. And you can kind of see how on the bottom right, it attaches to any shampoo bowl. You can move it as many times as you'd like. You just kind of like snap it on and turn it. It's super easy. But with something like that, it's recirculating. So you do have to fill the bowl up with the temperature water you want. And then it'll just recirculate from the actual bowl. You're not pulling from the fresh water. So here is something to think about. And again, we're going to go deeper into this. But I say if you're working with plumbing, you almost definitely want to get one of these kind of fresh waterfalls, because it's a perfect way to start. It's a perfect way to just turn on the water, give your client that kind of like water therapy really early on into the service. If you're doing something that's recirculated, you have to fill up the sink. You have to put the pump in. It's not hard, but it's a little bit of a commitment. So you don't want to fill up the basin, right? Like your sink, and put the recirculating pump in just to give somebody like a 10-second preview right away as soon as like they lay down, because they're just excited about that like sensory experience part of it. That's why I like these ones that pull from the fresh, right? If you have somebody where they're going to be laying and you're using that as like a different type of sensory experience for the service where you're going to run it for 10 minutes, I would like you to look at the recirculating pumps, because I don't want to tell you to waste water, So that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of moving parts, but these, if you've got a plumbed sink, one of these attachments I think is really great. to get that pulls from the fresh water. And the neck rest, I also put a link in there, and I put a link to a specific one. They all kind of look the same, but that just takes your regular shampoo bowl and fully supports the back of the head. So it's going to give kind of like a similar feeling to the portable or the plumbed head spas that are made to lay, like for the person to lay flat. But just remember, if you have them there for a while, you need to elevate their feet so that you don't strain their back. So hope that you found this helpful. And I think a lot of people, when they first start looking at head spa stuff, think immediately they have to buy one of those portable sinks like I show in a lot of my content, but that's absolutely not always the case. If you're adding it to your menu, like a waterfall, a place for people to put their feet up, and a really good neck rest, like that's a really good way to start. These are all under $300. These ones that pull from fresh water, I want to say they're like $199 to $299. This neck rest, I want to say was like $20. The K head spa attachments are a little bit pricier. These are recirculation waterfalls, and they are like $1,000, around $1,000 for one. But again, they serve different purposes, and it's a completely different part of the service. Some people don't like recirculated, some people do. You can fight that out on your own. I just want to give you all the facts. And then lastly, we're going to talk in another slide back presentation. Let me draw that out and say it forever. But I didn't make many notes for this one, if you can't tell. We're going to talk about these non-plumbed portable units. And on the left-hand side, you can see this was like when I'm starting to set up my studio over the summer, and I just had a sink from Amazon and I had a bed from Amazon. And again, I am not here to equipment shame anybody. If you are starting out with the bare basics, that is totally fine. There is no shame in like doing what you need to start, as long as everything you have is like safe and compliant, etc. Like you can even see in the back one of this one, I have a little portable like countertop steamer that I was using. You have to, when you figure out your budget, start where it feels good and right, and don't worry about what anybody else thinks again. And then over here on the right side, I have my K Headspa portable sink set up next to a portable massage bed. I just put these here so you can kind of see the difference. This sink on the right, the K Headspa one, you can hard plumb it, or it can be used as portable. And again, I kind of still only recommend that if you really think you're going to be needing it or using it as portable, because otherwise there's not really any reason to purchase that specific sink. They've got other options, other stores have other options, etc. For me, this was I love this sink. It was perfect for me, but not everybody has the exact same need or situation. But like I said, I wanted to put all this in here because I really want to be transparent and show you guys everything. The main takeaway from this, non-plumbed portable units make it possible to do this without plumbing. That's it. That's the only time I really think you want to use something like that, is if it's the only option. They are more work to deal with, to manage, to sanitize, everything. It's possible. I've been doing it, obviously, but it's definitely more work. And I would say for most people, the only way I'm going to suggest that this is what you do is if it's like a stepping stone to get you to a situation where you have plumbed models. For me, I love my portables. I actually have both of these in my house because I like to be able to show and compare the differences between the two. We will get into that later. And also, even when I teach live classes, I will have these and they're portable, and I can bring them to wherever I have the class. So that is that. Lastly, I just did a close-up of these two. So on the left is my K Headspa Tri-Flow portable sink with my recirculating waterfall. This is hard plumbed in this picture. I had it like hard plumbed to the wall, but I can do this while it's in portable mode. I can do this while it's fully plumbed. It doesn't matter. And then to the right, on the right hand of your screen, is a plumbed shampoo bowl with a plumbed waterfall that pulls from fresh water. And so you can kind of see the difference. I would put a way nicer neck cushion on that. I don't understand. Like if you have someone laying down and you don't have like the plushest neck cushion ever, like what are you doing with your life? Like neck cushions always, always. I would rather hear you tell me a story that you had to take away a towel or take away a layer of cushion because the client's head was too far up than tell me that afterwards the client like sat up and their eyes were like bulging out of their head because it was uncomfortable. So if you have questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comments and I will answer them always. That's what I'm here for. So thank you for watching. If you have plumbing, you don't need a portable head spa. Let's focus on what you need to get going. And thank you for watching. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. This is why I use a script, but I'll see you in the next